viewers, welcome back to Road 237 as I continue my marathon of Italian horror and Giallo films. And before I get into the Giallo review, I just want to take a moment to say, give a huge thank you to everyone that has subscribed to Room 237, because we just broke 1,700 subscribers, and that to me is awesome. I can't thank everyone enough. I was hoping we were going to hit that by the weekend, but we hit it by the end of the weekend. And you guys are all great. So thank you to all my subscribers, new and old. You guys are awesome. So yes, this is another Giallo review, and to my understanding, this has not had much of an official release, except for one out-of-print release, I think, in Germany. And that's why it's so hard to find, except for this one website, which I'll say, which is a bootleg. But it's a Lamberto Bava film, so I'm not quite sure the release history on this one. But it says 1986 film Midnight Killer, which is also known as You'll Die at Midnight. So yeah, this is just a cheap bootleg, and I got it from Revoc or Revic.com. They actually have a pretty cool catalog. They specialize in obscure cult films, anywhere from the 70s, 80s, even some more present-day stuff that hasn't had an official release. So like, I got this for $13, and they do have good deals on there, so go check them out. So yeah, 1986's Midnight Killer, aka You'll Die at Midnight, Lamberto Bava. The only thing I will say about this release is which one, because I know there's, I'm sorry if my nose is red, I've been going like this for a few days because there's dog hair everywhere. Again, I apologize if I sound like ass, like always. But, because I know there's quality Nazis out there that want the most, well, it's got to be dual layered and triple scanned and have 5K, double extra, super extra bunch of numbers and letters I don't understand. Quality. Pretty sure this is just a regular VHS transfer, if anything. And it says 85 minutes. I think I read somewhere it's 88, so this might be edited, which is fine. And also, like, there's no main menu. It is in the Italian language with English subtitles, and the subtitles are not interpreted. They're just translated very literally, so a lot of the grammar doesn't really make sense, but you get the gist of what they're saying. But even in that case, I enjoyed this film, and it is a shame that this did not get an official release. And again, I'm not sure why. And for a bootleg, it's perfectly fine. I don't really need a menu. It plays, has everything. If it is a VHS transfer, it looks great. It does have a bit of a TV movie quality, but I don't think it has anything to do with the transfer or anything. In fact, I'm not even sure what the budget for this was. I mean, it came out a year after Demons, but so yeah, I'm not sure the release history. But it was co-written between Bava and Dardano Sacchetti. Stars Paolo Malco, who of course was in House by the Cemetery, New York Ripper. Valeria DeBuacchi, if I pronounce that correctly, and Leonardo Treviglio. It has music by Claudio Simonetti of Goblin. And I did like the score. It does have some big, loud parts, but it also has some very nice Carpenter-esque, as Carpenter would put it, wallpaper-type music. Especially towards the climax with the fog. That scene was very well done with the music. Now, the pacing, I mean, this movie comes and goes very quickly. And actually, the cover here, where I first heard of this film and made me want to seek it out, is because it is the cover of So Deadly, So Perverse Volume 2, which covers Giallo films from 1974 to 2013. So, unfortunately, Volume 1 is a film called Amok, which is hard to get unless you get the Shameless Blu-ray, which I don't even think Shameless put this out. So yeah, not to go on and on more about the release history, but I am kind of boggled as to why it didn't get a legit release. But the movie is about this police officer who finds out his wife's been unfaithful. They get in an altercation. He leaves. She's then killed. He's known to know about the affair, so he has motive. He's an alcoholic, and he has no alibi. He becomes the prime suspect, and the inspector is played by Paolo Malco. But there's this criminologist who notices that not just the officer's wife, but all the subsequent murders, the nature and everything of the kills are the same as this previous case from years earlier from the Midnight Ripper, who supposedly died in a hospital fire. This guy was named Tabo, I don't remember what the guy's name was. Tribo. And throughout the film, she believes that the police officer is innocent. The inspector does not. She believes it's this Tribo killer never really died. The inspector thinks he did, and it's either a copycat or that it is this police officer. And then regular Giallo stuff happens. We get the kills. Of course, we get the red herrings that make us divert our suspicions onto someone else. And then we get the twist ending. It's pretty straightforward, but you have Bava's direction to really, help it look good. There is a quote by Bava that said, when talking about this, because this was his second Giallo. I don't know why that was so hard to say. This came out the same year as Delirium. No. Delirium was his third. Blade in the Dark was his first. And he actually does not like doing Giallo films. He says he doesn't like doing films where women are just stabbed to death. And he says he likes how Argento does it. He does it very well, but he doesn't really like to shoot it. And we do have some good death scenes in here. But with his direction and with the pacing, I thought the performances, I'm not really going to judge the performances because it's hard for me to judge. It sounds weird, but because I'm so focused on the subtitles, even though the grammar on these, because it is a literal translation. But, I do like Paolo Malco anyway, and I thought the criminologist, Valeria, Dobici, I thought they did a fine job. I will say the ending, not giving it away, I'll say that for spoilers, but I will say ahead of time, even though I liked the explanation and I didn't see the killer being who the killer was in this, I didn't see that coming, it is kind of a happy birthday to me kind of cheat, because I see that movie as a cheat. I thought this was a bit of a cheat. again, I like the explanation. I thought that worked because with this, we see the killer's face a lot of time. And during several of the chase scenes or kill scenes, we see the killer's face. And he's played by Peter Pitch, if I pronounce that correctly, who kind of looks like, I can't remember the actor's name, but he kind of looks like the guy who played Al Neri in the Godfather films. So I was kind of, at first I was like, well, here's the killer. And I started thinking, is this going to be a happy birthday to me type ending? I had the feeling it is, and it was. So even though I like the explanation, I'll say the reveal felt like a cheat. But, so I guess I'll get into spoilers. I did think this was a good film. I mean, I'm growing to like Lamberto Bava anyway. I say growing because for a while the only film of his I saw was A Blade in the Dark, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But love Demons, really like Demons 2. Loved Macabre. Did like Delirium. And I think he's a very underrated, certainly underappreciated Italian director. And if you're a fan of his and a fan of Giallo, definitely seek this out. Even if you're a quality Nazi, just get over that shit for a bit. Get over it for 85 minutes and just watch this. Sure, it's not clear enough so you can make out every pore on the actor's face, but I thought this was a decent Giallo. There are some pretty good atmospheric scenes. Like, I love towards the ending with the final chase at the hotel with the palm trees and the fog, and we just see the roads sort of end in the fog and how deserted it is in that area. I thought with that sort of minimal Carpenter-esque score, it was a very atmospheric scene. It was a good suspenseful chase scene, like with where the actress hides. Some of the death scenes were kind of slasher-esque. Like, especially the one friend that gets I call it a mashed potato stir, because that's, I've seen my grandmother use one, but like the electrical thing with the two, almost like whisks, but this one's got more like garbage disposal blades on it. She gets one of those. And so yeah, the criminologist thinks the cop is innocent. And then one of the inspector's daughters, who's after a while, one of our main characters, she's attacked but lives and swears it's this Midnight Ripper guy. And after that point, that's when we start seeing the killer's face. Even though there is a knife used a lot, one of the main weapons, or one that plays a big part, is an ice pick. There's this other woman who works at a clothing store. There's a long scene with her when the killer was using a, disguised voice like this, trying to get her to put on like a sexy bra, then she's killed. I don't really recall a lot of this being on screen, though, like the violence being on screen. I feel like there was a lot of cuts. Again, when I see IMDb and I think Wikipedia both said 88 minutes. Yeah, but this is 85, so this must have been a cut version. But I still think this is a good Baba film. I liked it more than Blade in the Dark. So I would recommend it. And I do kind of like it when directors go back to cheaper films. And I'm only saying that because I don't know what the budget was. But when you look at Demons, Delirium, even Blade in the Dark, why is it so hard for me to say Blade in the Dark? Like, every time I've had to say it twice. This does look like a very cheap TV movie. But again, I think it's because it's a bootleg, probably VHS transfer. But I do recommend this. I did think this was a good, solid Giallo. It was different. I would say, even though I think the reveal is a bit of a cheat, it did keep me guessing because we did see the killer's face. I was like, okay, there's got to be a twist. There's no way this is being called the Giallo and being known as a Giallo when we see the killer's face and know his name right there. So, with that, I'm going to get into spoilers. So, at one point, the husband, the police officer, is seen at this hotel with the criminologist from a distance out on like a balcony or the outside walkway, looking like he's approaching her with a knife, or like she has the knife and is trying to get him to back off. And I believe it was another officer shot him. This is far enough into the film where everyone thinks he's responsible because of the inspector played by Malco. He's the prime suspect. So he's shot, but then we get a couple more murders. Like I think the woman at the clothing store was after this. And then the inspector has his daughter, a couple of her friends, hide out somewhere, and they go to this hotel somewhere. But they're found even there. And we get a couple. One of the girls there is the one that gets killed with the mixer. Which I did like how that scene ended. Like, she's over the counter, or she's stabbed in the back, laying on the counter. We just see the killer grab her by the hips and, like, pull her away. Scene cuts. But then this one friend of the inspector's daughter calls this one friend named Alberto, saying, I have this favor. We don't get to hear it, but asking for a favor. He shows up. We see him putting gloves on at that hotel where the girls are, so we think, oh, maybe he's in on something. Because we see him spying on a chick working out when we see her call him. And then we get the final chase, which I like that whole sequence, especially when the inspector's daughter has to, like, hide in a stall on the beach, and the killer's looking through each stall, and she has to, like, go under. And then finally, the inspector shows up, shoots the killer. Again, we see his face and everything. He's got the burns to show that he was in the fire. Which, before that happens, Alberto shows up and says, no, the killer is Anna, or Anne, the criminologist. I read her dissertation on the Midnight Ripper, and she snapped. She became obsessed with him because she was raped by him, and, she had a psychotic break. She's recreating his crimes. She doesn't want to believe it. Alberto is stabbed. Again, we see his face, and then the inspector comes in, shoots him, and we see, he confirms what Alberto said. She still doesn't want to believe him. Said, no, Anna's over there, dead. And that's when we see it was her friend that was killed in the kitchen, is wearing Anna's clothes with her face covered up. He walks up to Anna, pulls off the face mask, which he says she had the mask made at, like, a university lab. So yeah, that's the problem I have with Happy Birthday to Me, is that perfect, like, latex mask that contours and looks so real. And yeah, she did become obsessed with the real Ripper, became, had a psychotic break, recreated his crimes, wanted the inspector to admit that he was wrong about the killer being dead. There was even a part where a smoking pipe was mailed to his office from her. And then it ends with the line of how the guy that shot the husband before didn't realize that she was the one with the knife, and he was the one protecting himself. So it's kind of like that voyeur witnessing something from a distance. I was like, oh, that's kind of Crystal Plumage, like, very different, and it's a small part, but if they had realized what was going on at that point, it would have stopped all subsequent murders, and it would have been solved. So yeah, the only thing I really didn't like, and I wouldn't even say I didn't like it, I was able to buy it, I guess. I mean, I was able to suspend my disbelief more than with Happy Birthday to Me. I do think it was a bit of a cheat, but I liked the motive, I liked the explanation. I didn't see it going there, or I didn't think it was going to be her. But I did figure with how long we saw this killer's face, I was like, okay, there's got to be a twist here. Willing to bet it's going to be a well-made mask, even though this is clearly an actor with his face. They're going to try to say it's a mask. But yeah, I'll say again, it is kind of a shame that this never got an official release. I do like it. If you're interested in seeing it, definitely go to Reebok or Revic.com. It's only $13. Again, if you're one of those quality obsessed people, maybe you can get it on Blu-ray. I don't know, but just get over yourself for about an hour, 25 minutes, and just check out this Giallo. Because it is, I will say it is definitely underrated, because I don't think hardly anyone's seen it, because it is so hard to get. But I'm glad that I have it. I'm glad I found it on that website. I don't care if it's a bootleg. It works for me. And I enjoyed it. Is it my favorite Lamberto Bava Giallo? Well, I liked it more than Blade in the Dark, but did I like it more than Delirium? Probably. It did have a bit more of like an intimate atmosphere because of his low budget. And it didn't have as big, like, Delirium's kind of like a big movie, like Demons. A big, crazy movie. This is very low-key feeling, which I do enjoy. But, anyway, I hope you like this review. I know it's not my best. I know I've been rubbing and sniffing like I always do. I know I don't sound the best. I know this wasn't super informative, but... oh, and also just beware. If you do buy it from that website, you will have to read subtitles. But it's worth it, at least I think. So... I hope you like this review, and stay tuned for more Italian horror and Giallo films. Thank you for watching.